Good evening. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for November 2nd, 2009. Official voting board meeting. To call upon the clerk to take the roll call.
Mayor Ron.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Emery is not here yet. She hopes to get here, but she may not make it, but she'll try. She's at a trial today.
Yes.
So, Trustee Fleming.
Here.
Trustee Forsley.
Here.
Trustee Klebanow.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Trustee Seneca.
Here.
Manager Searle. Here. Attorney Zimonek.
Here.
Police Chief Mulhern. Here. Deputy Police Chief King. Here. Fire Chief Trout. Here. Economic Development Director and Assistant Manager Kimball. Here. Public Works Director May.
I must have lost it.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item before us this evening are the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held October 15th and board meeting held October 19th, 2009. We have a motion.
Motion to approve is corrected.
Discussion?
Second.
Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Moving right along, reports. Mayor, I do not have anything to report at this moment. Village Clerk.
I have just a few reminders. First of all, to remind the residents again that during the month of November, on your garbage pickup day, you can put out 2 soft yard waste bags free during the month of November. So keep that in mind. Remind everyone that on Veterans Day, November 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning at Ty Warner Park, there will be a service which the mayor usually speaks at. And the next census meeting is for Monday, November 23rd at 7 o'clock p.m. right here in the Village Hall Council Chamber. That's all I have.
Thank you. Our Village Attorney, John Zimonek.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Village Manager, Ron Searle.
Thank you. Just one item of information. The Westmont Lions Club had contacted me and asked if I could comment on the fact that they had difficulty with their Candy Day collection the last, actually both on the scheduled date and then the next weekend, which was their rain date. And as a result of that, they're actually soliciting donations through the middle of the month of November. And I talked to Ron Gunther today, who's also a Lion, and the Westmont Lions Club meets at the administration building for the Westmont Park District. So he suggested that if anyone is interested in making a donation, they can do so at the administration building for the Westmont Park District at 55 East Richmond. Or if you can't get there during their hours of operations, you can put a donation in an envelope, mark it Westmont Lions Club, and they have a slot on the north side of the building. You can just drop it in there. So that's through kind of the middle of the month, about the 15th or so.
If I could just add to that, Ron, also many of the downtown businesses have canisters in the business. So if you're frequenting our downtown business, it'd be nice to throw some change in there.
And they are usually quite successful with their
The businesses are
campaign
phenomenal. They've
on
really.
the streets, so there's definitely a shortfall in the revenue generated for
I guess some
Westmont Lions.
people did get out, but overall it wasn't what they had hoped. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. New business. 2009 Westmont Special Events Corporation Taste of Westmont Report. Or to consider a motion accepting a recap report on the 2009 Taste of Westmont presented by the Westmont Special Events Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I would just like to say that I got to see the presentation on replay, and kudos to that organization. They are just phenomenal. You know, what we put on with volunteers compared to other communities that pay huge salaries
Right.
for those kinds of events, ours run circles around everybody else. So thank you to that group.
And that's what continues to make Westmont so special.
Yes, absolutely.
For all of us. Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
We have before us 4 requests for massage establishment licenses. And I believe three of these are businesses that were already in existence that we're catching up with due to our licensing requirements here in the village. With that being said, the first one is the massage establishment license application for Karma Salon and Spa at 15 North Cass Avenue.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Next is for massage establishment license for the Morgan Paris Salon at 700 Pasquinelli Drive.
So move. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
The third massage establishment license is for Tranquil Passage LLC at 3912 North Cass.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Next one for license for massage establishment is Beauty Concepts at 6309 Fairview Avenue.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Next, the first water main improvement program is for the West Burlington Avenue water main. Board to consider an ordinance awarding the construction contract for the West Burlington Water Main Improvement Project to Trine Construction Corporation.
So move. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
The next project is the North Lincoln Street Water Main Improvement Board to consider ordinance awarding the construction contract for the North Lincoln Water Main Improvement Project to the John Neary Construction Company.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
I have a question on these water mains, just thought about it. We did get an email explaining the pricing and what we would owe in the 20-year program. Is this something that we've already started budgeting for? Is this coming up in our new budget? Because I think he said the total for some of the stuff was going to be about $80,000 a year.
Well, it's in the current budget, and I would assume if we have any carryover, we might include that in next year's budget, but...
But is it actually starting now in this year's budget, or is it offset?
The first installment on the loan part would not be due until a year after the project is finalized out, so it might not even be in the next fiscal year, but
Okay.
then 20 consecutive years after that.
Okay, so we don't have to worry right now whether we
No,
have...
it's 100% funded.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, and thanks for the email.
Any other questions? A roll call.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
I thank you. That's my street.
Next item, maintenance services agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving a maintenance services agreement with M.E. Simpson for the Water Distribution System Valve Assessment Program.
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Forsley?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Design Engineering Service Agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving a design engineering service agreement with Baxter and Woodman for ground storage tanks recoating.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Next item, document shredding event. Board to consider a motion approving a document shredding event for Westmont residents on Saturday, November 14th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon in front of the Village Hall on Quincy Street.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Just a question, will they be shredding on site, or is it one of the trucks where they just collect it and take it away?
On site.
No, shredding on site.
And
Thank
if I
you.
understood right, there'll be a little television screen. If you really want to see your documents shredded, you'll be able to see it
Right.
go through.
That's good.
Roll call.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, transfer of real estate. Board to consider an ordinance regarding Lot 28 Black Hawk Drive. A, authorizing the transfer of Lot 28 to the Park District. B, authorizing the plat of easement for Lot 28. And C, authorizing the assignment of the lease for Lot 28 to the Westmont Park District. We have a motion on point A.
So, second?
Discussion?
Just that it requires a 2/3 vote by statute.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call on point A.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Okay. Point B.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Point C.
Motion to approve C?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Next item, ambulance fee increase. Board to consider a motion to postpone an increase in resident and non-resident ambulance fees.
Motion approved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Finance ordinance number 13.
We have before us on this second day of November 2009, a finance ordinance in the amount of $501,299.16.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming. Forsley. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You get to vote twice.
Yeah.
Cook County.
Chicago or what?
Cook County.
Purchase orders.
Motion to approve is a block for $1,281,295.59.
Second.
Discussion?
I think we mentioned the reason for the high cost on Thursday was the Black Hawk Drive reconstruction was $863,000, and the water main replacement on Black Hawk Drive is $400,000. I don't know if you wanted to vote now, or did we ask Steve to,
We can do it.
you want to do that
We
afterwards?
can do it after the vote and ask Steve to come forward and give us an update on that progress.
Probably before the vote, I would think, would make more sense. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, that's great.
Well, with the frustrating progress, until recently, there actually has been a lot of big activity going on in the last week. They do have the entire road basin, and last Wednesday and Thursday, they managed to put in not 100%, but I'll say like 98% of the curb was installed. A curb along all the residential properties. There's always little gaps next to sewers that they have to do by hand, and they'll still have to be cleaned up. The curb has to cure before they can start building against it, and the next step is they are backfilling. Well, they're excavating for the sidewalk and driveway aprons, and they're using that material to backfill the curb, and that all has to be backfilled before you start. Asphalt has to be compacted so that if you don't have anything behind the curb moves when you try and compress the asphalt. So they're doing that excavation now. They were doing it today, and they'll be doing it again tomorrow. Backing up a little bit, they got all that in Wednesday and Thursday, and we had a rain day on Friday. But because there was no activity going on and they weren't expected back on the weekend, we were able to, even though this is a good, exciting point in the project, it is one of the frustrating points for the residents because they can't park on their property. They can't even park in front of their property. They have to use the side streets around the corner, so it's a lot of walking and your vehicle's out of view. With Halloween and all, we were able to let them park on Black Hawk Drive itself on the stone base over the weekend, and they all very well moved all their vehicles this morning to continue with work. So they'll be going back and forth. We could be pouring the sidewalk and the driveway aprons as soon as Wednesday, and by the middle of next week the asphalt base will go in. So it's all moving very fast now, and I would say 2 weeks from now they'll be in a very good place as far as access to the property and ready for winter. And then all extra work is just additional progress that we can make this year. Restoration will probably be in the spring though, as far as turf and the sod restoration.
Could you give just a very brief summary again of why it's taken as long as it has to reach this point?
Honestly, it appeared to be going slower than it actually was because they could only work at the controlling construction item was always, somewhere far away and out of sight. We did have a combination of one big item that we were plagued with was the condition of the excavated soil. It went from contaminated to special waste to non-special waste is what it is now, and that entire approval process. And when I say approval, the project is grant funded. It is administered by the Illinois Department of Transportation, so there's that whole process for every step and every change order that it has to be gone through. There was a lot of delay waiting for decisions on how that was going to be handled. They always said all along that it would be covered under the grant, but you have to go through the process, and the process is local, Schaumburg, and then Springfield. So every step was another week, it seemed like, as far as the different phases of the approval process. So with your cooperation, we were able to relocate the material to our parcel on 63rd Street, and we have it temporarily stockpiled there to get it out of the way so the contractor could keep working. And those costs for the double handling are going to be covered under the grant as well. We are waiting for an okay on that before we let him touch it. And once that happened, there were small delays with waiting for utility relocation, and all of that added together was one big, aggravating month of October. But that all finished up. Every utility is done doing what they need to do, and we're nothing left to do but build the road.
And because this is a grant, we expect to be refunded for?
In general, it's a 70-30 split, but there are also other items in there that are called non-participating that the village picks up 100% of, and that's already accounted for in the contract and the budget. For example, street lighting is 100% village funded, and that might be it. The water main was 100% village funded, although the contaminated soil to take off the job site for the water main construction is partially covered under the grant, so that was good.
So the residents won't have access to their driveways until the sidewalks and the driveway aprons are poured?
Yeah, the curb is still right now less than a week old, so this is actually the best way to do it, and they'll pour the sidewalks and the driveway aprons quickly so that when the road base goes in, they'll almost have immediate access to their property that day.
Good.
When you do the driveway aprons, are you replacing what they had? If they had concrete, we're doing concrete. If they had blacktop, you're doing blacktop, or?
The contract called for that type of replacement, but for reasons I can't explain, the asphalt driveways were as expensive as the concrete ones were. It would take a lot longer to wait for the contractor to come out and do asphalt aprons as a second phase, and then another delay with getting people onto their homes. So because they were the same price, I authorized them to go ahead, and they're all going to be concrete aprons down the length of the project because it's quicker and not any more expensive.
That's what I was wondering. So they're not gonna, you're not gonna have to wait twice for different people.
Right.
So they'll be in. How about when the sidewalk's in, and especially on the homeowner side of the sidewalk, it usually gets messed up, but we're gonna still have time to go in there and fill in so there's no gap between the sidewalk and their driveway?
Definitely will, whether it's, it'll be saw cut, and it won't be left stone. So whether it's an asphalt patch or maybe temporarily or permanently a concrete, it's usually about a 1 foot strip that gets cut off. If they can excavate the driveway cleanly, they saw it right where the sidewalk's going, and that always turns out the best. But if that gets damaged or doesn't turn out in that case, then we do saw cut maybe a foot further back and patch that piece. Nobody likes the joint in the driveway, so you try and get it as close as possible. And sometimes the condition of the driveway might have a crown to it and doesn't match up well to the sidewalk, so there's a lot of considerations with that.
So along with our finance, our purchase orders here, our 400,000, which is the water main replacement, that is totally our responsibility, is what you're saying. We're not gonna have any.
Yes, and that was budgeted accordingly. These purchase orders aren't for payment to further qualify that. They are the open purchase order encumbering those funds, authorizing us to make the intermittent payouts as we get to the different points in the project.
But I just want to make sure that people realize that we won't get that 400,000. That's part of our.
It is.
That's definitely our whole part. Okay.
It was separated up into two purchase orders because it came out two different funds. One was the water fund and the other general improvement.
Any other questions? Thank you for explaining that again, Steve. I know we received a number of emails from residents that were very, very concerned. You have brought us all up to date on that progress. Thank you. Anything further?
We have to vote on it.
You didn't vote yet.
Any other questions? Hearing no more questions, roll call.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Unless there's something else to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time, as we have no request for an executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Forsley.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.